Hi friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie if you're new here, and today we're gonna be looking at my winter favorites. I am so excited. I can't believe we're already onto the winter season. I mean, I know technically it's still fall until like the end of December, but around here, winter officially is in full season starting December 1st. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into these polishes. So let's just get into the swatches. So we're starting with Zoya Adel, and this can be described as a soft, creamy sheer off-white with subtle, warm undertones. So I know a milky white is not everybody's cup of tea, but I absolutely love this shade. I really love that it's an off-white, but it's still white enough that it's perfect for winter. I wore this so much last year, whether on its own or as a base for my wintry nail art, and I just know I'm gonna love wearing it so much this year too. So I just can't recommend it enough. It looks great here on two coats. Next up we have Cirque Colors Sunkissed, and this can be described as a deep gold metallic flake nail polish topper. So I love this one. First of all, mine is a mini bottle because I got it in last year's advent calendar, so don't mind that, but this one is just such a beautiful topper. Any gold topper really, but this is like the favorite one that I have. It's just so beautiful to layer over a dark cream, especially if it's like a jewel tone. Oh my god, it is just so pretty. So since this is a topper and I have a clear swatch wheel, I'm layering two coats just to kind of build up those flakies a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to see. But I normally would just love wearing this in one coat because I really love how sparse and delicate but still elegant this looks. Next up, I have Ave Stardust, and this is described as a rose gold foil metallic. So right off the bat, I don't know if I would agree with that description being a foil metallic because I feel like this is very soft, but I really love that about this shade. I mean, if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I love Olive Ave. They have such an amazing formula, amazing brushes, but the colors are always so perfect. I love that this one isn't like a very typical rose gold, like it's not very pink at all. I feel like it kind of leans a little champagne-y. So this as an accent nail or used in nail art, oh, don't get me started. And the last neutral that I have is Painted Polishes Batch Made in Heaven. So this came out in last year's cookie inspired collection, and that whole collection was just so cute and fun, and I definitely could recommend like any of the polishes in there. Unfortunately, I don't think this one is still available, but some of the other polishes are, so it's worth checking out either way. But I had to include this one because it just gives me such warm and cozy vibes. I love the gold flakies, as you already know, and I think the base color is just so rich and warm. I just can't get enough of it. And I know we're, again, only into the neutrals, but these shades can just carry me through winter with how cozy they are. I absolutely love them. Now moving on to some color, we're starting with KBShimmer Take a Bough, and this is described as a vibrant jade green polish with a multi-chrome shimmer that shifts from gold to lime to green, and there's also some hollow flakes in there. So I know it can be kind of hard to see because it's a little bit sheer on the first coat, and again, having a clear swatch wheel doesn't really help with that, but the shimmer stands out so beautifully. This shade is just so pretty. It's like one of those that you put on and you're just mesmerized and distracted by your nails all day. I think it is so beautiful, and I just love that it's like such a bright take on a winter holiday green. So I can't recommend this one enough. If you know, you know. Next up, we have Butter London's Royal Emerald, and this can be described as a decadent, deep, metallic green. Now, this is definitely the kind of green that I think of when it comes to the holiday season or just winter in general. And this came out a couple of months ago as part of like a little trio, but this one was easily my favorite. I just knew I was gonna love it so much during this time of year, and it was my first time trying Butter London, and while I don't love the skinny brush, it still had a really great formula. So I do remember it being opaque on my nails on 2 coats, but for the swatch wheel I'm going to be showing it on 3 just so it looks, you know, nice and even and pretty. But yeah, I am a huge fan of deep greens like this that still look green. And I really love that it's kind of like a metallic, but not super reflective, but still very shimmery. Next up, I have Loud Lacquer's Office in the Trees, and this is described as a dark forest green cream. So this one I feel like leans a little bit teal, but I really don't mind that at all. I feel like it's kind of like the perfect emerald color. It is just so beautiful to me. I wore this so much last year, both on its own, and of course I used it so much in nail art. I just really love this as an option for a dark green cream. I'm especially a fan of how it looks like that deep jewel tone kind of color. It is just so beautiful. Next up, we have Ave Lantern, and this is described as a grade green cream. So I feel like the lighting is kind of making it look a little bit olivey, but it's definitely not. Those gray undertones are really present in this polish, and it makes it so unique and beautiful, especially to my collection. But I just am such a fan of this green. I feel like it's one of my favorites, like, in my whole collection, which I feel like says a lot because I'm not the biggest green lover, you know. But yeah, this one is so beautiful. It is sold out right now, but I really hope it's gonna come back this year. Next up, I have Cirque Colors Verdigris Jelly, and this came out recently as part of their holiday collection this year, and this is described as a dusty teal green jelly. So like I said in that video, I normally would wear jellies exclusively in the summertime, and even though Cirque has released a collection of jellies closer to like the fall, I just never really considered wearing them deep into like winter. But this one definitely changed that for me. I think it is just such a beautiful shade. It's definitely the most unique color of jelly polish that I own, and it is just so pretty to me. I wore it recently as part of a Skittle, and it built up nicely in 3 coats. There still was a little bit of that squishiness, but obviously 3 coats on a clear swatch wheel is still gonna look see-through, but this one is gorgeous. And now moving on to the blues, I have Holo Taco's Frostlight, and this is described as an icy blue holographic glitter polish. So it's in a tinted blue base, and it just has varying sizes of metallic and holographic glitter. So since the base is so icy, it is definitely very sheer, and you're probably gonna need 3 coats to build it up to full opacity, or you could just try sponging it on for maximum glitter payoff. But I don't mind applying these just like normal polishes. Even though there are a ton of glitters in here, it's really not that difficult to apply or anything. So yeah, this one is just absolutely stunning. It's like winter in a bottle, or, you know, it reminds me of Elsa. I'm not the biggest fan of like winter, so if I have to go through it and, you know, be cold and miserable, then at least I'll wear this and look cute doing it, you know? So here it is on 3 coats, and you can still see some bald spots here and there, but I don't think it needs a 4th. Next up, I have ILNP's 0 Degrees, and this one just came out in their Winter Wonderland collection a couple weeks ago, but I just had to include it in here because it was my favorite from the collection, so it kind of makes sense to include it. But anyway, not to gush about it all over again, but I just cannot get over this polish. It has such a beautiful blue base, and I love the icy blue shimmer in it, and there's just so much sparkle in this polish. It just gives it so much depth. It is beautiful. And I know that Holo Taco just came out with Twice in a Blue Moon, which, yes, is very similar. I already reviewed it and compared these two polishes in that video, so I'll link it in the cards. But the main reason, well, there's two. The two reasons that I picked this polish. The first one is that I prefer how this one magnetizes when it's in the velvet effect. It is just so much more sparkly and beautiful. No offense to the Holo Taco one. But the second reason is that this polish doesn't smell. Full offense to the Holo Taco one. Next up, I have another cutie from Cirque, and this one is Velvetine. So this one has a slate blue base with a strong copper shimmer and a delicate holographic sparkle. So you know that I am such a huge fan of these kinds of shimmers from Cirque, and this one kind of reminds me of Huga a little bit, which I shared in my Libra favorites video, which is one of my like all-time favorites from Cirque. And Velvetine just reminds me of like the winter version of it. The slate blue base is just so gorgeous. I love slate blue, just period. So I feel like I don't have that many polishes with this kind of base color. So it's definitely unique to my collection, and even though it is a little bit sheer and requires 3 coats for full opacity, I'm totally fine with that because the finished product is just so mesmerizing, and I cannot wait to wear this as a full manicure. I'm trying not to repeat myself, but this just gives me all the cozy vibes. I feel like that shimmer is so warm and inviting. I love it. Next up, I have Noodles nail polish Aspen, and this one came out a couple years ago, so unfortunately it's not available anymore, but I still had to include it because it's one of my all-time favorites. So I would describe this as an indigo crelly base, and it's packed with these silver holographic glitters. But because of the base, I feel like the holographic doesn't really show that much, but I'm not bothered by that at all. I think it's actually really beautiful the way that it is. So I can't really put it into words how much I love this polish. I kind of already said winter isn't my favorite because I sort of struggle with it, probably like many other people. And this polish in a way just reminds me of the heaviness and sadness that comes with winter, but in a comforting way. Next up, I have Powder Perfect Nottingham, and this is like a really deep midnight blue with a kind of silver sparkle. It's not holographic, but it's not fine enough either to be like a shimmer. It's really hard to explain, and unfortunately I can't find any information on this brand anymore, so I don't think they are around. But either way, I had to include this one because this is a polish that I wear like exclusively in December. Even though I've had it for years, there's like barely a dent in the bottle, but it is just so beautiful. And I know I mentioned this in the fall where I'm not a fan of colors that are so dark they're almost black. Like I would prefer to still tell that it's actually a deep navy or a deep purple, but this one is like the one exception. So here on 2 coats, it kind of looks navy against the clear swatch wheel, but once I put my hand behind it, you can see it looks very opaque and almost black. So when I wear this, I can definitely get away with it on 2 coats, but for the sake of making the swatch wheel look fully opaque, I decided to do a 3rd coat. But yeah, I just love the midnight blue that this is. It just reminds me of the night sky. I am kind of bummed though that this brand isn't around, so let me know if you've heard of Powder Perfect or if you've tried them before. Next up, I have another Olive Ave, and this one is Pebble. So this one is described as a smoky purple gray cream. So I don't know about you, but I kind of would call this like a mauve, maybe, right? Because it's like a smoky purple. It's mauve to me, but this is just such a beautiful and flattering color, and I love how it deepens up too. I know here it looks like kind of light, but in certain lighting, this shade can just look a lot deeper than it is, but it is just so warm and rich. I really hope this one comes back in stock sooner than later because this is one of those shades that I think like everybody needs. Next up, I have ILNP's Sugar Plum, which was also part of their Winter Wonderland collection. And if you remember from that review, I was kind of a little let down by this polish, so it might be a surprise to see this in my favorites, but this shade has just really grown on me. Initially, I was a little bit let down by how dark the base was because I was just expecting it to be like a lighter pink kind of magnetic. So it just took a while for me to really appreciate how beautiful this polish is. And I've seen so many of my friends swatching it, and I wore it on my other hand just to like, you know, test it out a little bit more. And it's really, really grown on me. I love the whole collection, like I said, but the magnetics especially were just they were the standouts, I think. The Holo Evermore, I was really close to adding that in here too, but I just had to limit myself. I didn't want to include, you know, all or half of the ILNP collection. But yeah, this one is absolutely stunning. It's still a little squishy on 3 coats, but on my nails, it was fine. Next up, I have Loud Lacquer's Whoberry Pie, and this is a really deep raspberry red kind of cream, but it's just picking up like hot pink on camera, so apologies for that, but this is definitely one of those berry shades that is just perfect for the winter season. You know, I love wearing pinks, and I had to include at least one. I don't really consider Sugar Plum a pink, but the shimmer kind of makes up for it. But yeah, if I'm going for a deep berry kind of shade, it's going to be something like this. Next up, I have Holo Taco's Plum Luck, and this is a plum purple holo with silver and magenta holographic glitters. So this one is just so captivating. It's looking a little underwhelming maybe on this clear swatch wheel, and I ended up having to do 3 coats for full opacity on the wheel specifically, but I'm able to wear this on 2 coats. So I'm just obsessed with deep plum purples. I shared a few deep purples in my fall favorites video, so I feel like a shade like this is just the perfect way to transition into winter when I still want that color but more sparkle to kind of lift my mood, you know what I mean? So yeah, here it is on 2 coats, and as you can see when I put my hand behind it, it looks basically opaque. So again, just for the sake of the swatch wheel looking fully opaque, I'm doing a 3rd coat. And since these are packed with so much glitter, you'll definitely need like 2 coats of top coat to smooth everything out, but it's absolutely worth it. I already wore this as a full manicure, and I'm excited to wear it again. Next up, I have Noodles nail polish, the North Pole, and this is a white crelly base with a ton of red micro glitters. So I don't know how, but I didn't record the first coat of this one, but look at that coverage. It's like so even and not streaky for being white. So I was really impressed with this one. Even though I've worn it before, I forgot how good it was. So I'm doing a 2nd coat for the swatch wheel, and it was fully opaque for me. Sadly, this one isn't available anymore, but Natalie does have a few other kind of holiday, wintry crellies similar to this in her shop, so I still would recommend checking them out because they're just so cute. I love wearing crellies like this during the winter, especially with a matte top coat. I feel like it's just so cozy. And last but not least, I have Noodles nail polish First Snow. And if you couldn't tell by the label, I've definitely had this one for a while, but it is just the cutest snowflake glitter topper. Oh my gosh, I know there are so many out there, but this one just has such a special place in my heart, probably because I've had it for such a long time, and it definitely could use some thinner, so don't mind the application. But Natalie recently came out with a polish very similar to this one called Snow Globe, and that one is sold out right now, but I think it might be restocked sometime soon. So again, definitely check it out if you don't have a polish like this. It is just so pretty and delicate, and those snowflake glitters are just the cutest thing. So I think it looks really cute in just one coat. It's definitely packed with enough glitters, and it probably would look nice over a sheer base, but I really love layering this over deeper shades like navy blues. So here's the final look at my winter favorites swatch wheel. I'm so excited about these. I think they look so amazing on their own, but also together. I feel like a few of these would make like really great Skittle combinations. So I'm excited to play with them this season. And to be completely honest, I was a little bit nervous coming into this video at first because a lot of the polishes that I was picking out initially were very holiday focused, which I really do love, and I will have a video on that probably, but I wanted to just bring the focus back onto winter specifically and to think of polishes that I'm going to be wearing in January because, yeah, I'm not really going to carry the festive polishes with me past, New Year's, so yeah, I'm just really excited about these. I think they all look so beautiful and just really cozy and comforting. So I can't wait to hear what you all think, and let me know if there are some polishes in here that you're going to consider getting for this season. And again, I am sorry that some of them are unavailable, but I just have to shop my own collection sometimes, and show love to some polishes that I haven't shown love to in a while. So here is how it looks all completed and so beautiful. So that wraps up my winter favorites for the 2022 season. Well, technically, I guess going into 2023, since this is supposed to carry me into at least January, but I'm definitely okay with that. So I would love to know what your thoughts are on my favorites and what some of your favorite colors to wear are, because obviously I lean heavily into the greens and blues and a little bit into the purples as well this time of year. And there's definitely a lot of polishes I wanted to include in this wheel. Obviously, it's hard for me to narrow down my favorites, but I think I decided to just separate those and keep them in their own condensed video for my holiday favorites. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I can't wait to hear what you think about my favorites. I really hope you enjoyed them, and let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below in the comments so we can chat about it. And actually, before I go, I do want to say a big thank you because we hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and that's just like really crazy to me. Like, I have been wanting to do YouTube for such a long time. I'm coming up on 8 years that I've been doing Instagram, and for the majority of that time, I have been really wanting to get on YouTube, and I've always just been so scared of doing it. And we're only like 6 months into this journey, so the fact that I hit 1,000 subscribers in 6 months is like crazy. So thank you so much. I really love doing this and making these videos, and I'm just excited to share more nail polish and more of myself with you all too. So just a big thank you again to everybody who has subscribed, and especially to those who like and comment, because just the engagement part is what really motivates me to keep doing it. Like, I know engagement is, good for the algorithm and all of that, but that's not why I even ask, to like the video or anything like that. I always ask you to leave comments because I actually want to talk to you and I want to hear, your thoughts and all of that. So I do appreciate it. To everyone who does interact with me, it really means so much. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.